Hello, hello. Pull those down. Happy Monday, August 11th, 2025. It's been a hell of a morning, let me tell you. Just check my microphone. There we go. Um, uh, it's a good thing we have a couple days yet before we launch the website. That's all I got to say. I needed today to deal with some shipping. Um, and I ran across some problems I was not expecting. And I mean, we were a well-oiled, finely tuned machine. Um, I mean, not only just the space, how everything was laid out and within reach, and the software works and the printers work, and um, I'm really glad. I'm grateful for those of you that took part in the early testing and acquired a few things for yourselves, uh, because all weekend it has been a strong learning curve, um, trying to figure out how this is going to work here. Um, so I actually meant to ship out pens on Saturday. However, I quickly decided. Now, what we used to do is we would have them in the case, and each pen would have in the olden days, each pen would have a tag on a string, and then I would have to sit down and I had to I would mark the inventory code and then the price on it. And then you would wrap it around you'd slip it under the clip, and then that would be good. And for about 85% of the cases, that worked real well. And then there was always like ring tops or pens that don't have clips, or pens with clips, but the clip is loose so that the string just falls off or it gets caught on something else, and finally we ditched the string idea. So this is just driving me nuts, because I would often have to shift. If I had 3 trays of pens and then we sold a bunch, I would compact them so that I could bring the next batch on. um, so I switched to using little pieces of paper, and the paper would have the inventory SKU, the name of the item, and the price, so that I could just pick up the pen. And it was a little neater looking. You just pick the pen up. Oh, it's $85. This is the right one, because sometimes like the string tag would fall off, and then like you wouldn't. Was it if you had 2 pens that were very similar right next to each other? Was it this one or is it that one? Because I did. There's not enough room to write down, and it would take forever. Parker Duofold Black and Pearl. Yada yada yada. So switch to the paper method, which is somewhat equally as frustrating, because you have to cut these little strips of paper out, and they have to be thin enough to fit in the tray, right? But we were only ever doing 10, 15, maximum 20 at a time. So it was a very short, relatively painless process that I did myself. Saturday morning, I get up, I'm going to start shipping. I'm going to see how the shipping process is going to work so we can fine tune this. So when Friday comes and hopefully more orders come in, it's not going to be a painful process. And I go to pull the pens, and I realize, because the pens are in binders, and the binders are numbered 1 through 6, and I realize it's impossible for me to determine which pen is which. I mean, well, I know if it's the oversized emerald green Vacuumatic with the lockdown, there's only one of those. I know where it is. I can go and I can grab it. I can find it in the case. I don't have to know it's number 339 or whatever. If it's a blue Parker 45 with the two-tone cap, yeah, there's probably only one or two of those, and I can kind of figure it out. But then if I'm not here or if I'm not pulling the pens, then nobody's going to have a clue. So I said, I hate to say this, but I think we got to print out all the strips and we got to fill the trays. Now, the problem is number one, the trays are currently being occupied by all the pens that we bought like a few weekends ago. So I've got like 500 Esterbrookes that I need to displace somewhere. They need to go in the binders that the pens are in, and the pens are in the binders need to go in the trays. So there was a little song and dance. I had some extra trays. We were able to kind of shuffle them along as we go. The entire process of printing those out, I need to order trays from the Desert Emporium. I probably do. How are you, Hans? Are you feeling better? I hope so. So we have 500, and I forget what the number is, 550, 545 little strips of paper that we had to cut. You're still feeling a bit better. Okay. Yeah, don't overdo it today. Don't overdo it today, please. So I mean, it took us, I don't even know, a couple of hours to do this whole job. Print them all out, put the pens in the trays, put the slips in there, and get them organized, and pull the orders as we're doing it, so I don't start with empty slots, empty holes in the trays. So that took we were well into 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It took us like almost all morning to get that done. So I mean, there was no way. Post office is closed. It wasn't going to happen. Plus, I still had to go to the warehouse to pick up some things that I had there for orders, and so and then that part of the process, we've got that pretty well finely oiled out, tuned out. It's not going to be a problem. But I thought, okay, well, Sunday I'm going to do. I can't ship on Sunday. I'll wait till Monday. We'll make it seem like it's a real Monday. And Sunday I'll do other things on the website. The feedback from everybody, and we're working on that. Laptop came on Saturday, which is fantastic. Sadly, I did not turn it on right away because we were right in the middle of the pen project. And then, of course, it takes an hour and a half to migrate everything from the old laptop to the new laptop. So, there was that. But it's an interesting color. It's even more interesting in person than it was like at the store, because it's like reminds me of the original Apple Silver, but it's got like a tiniest of blue hue to it, just the tiniest of blue hue. The charging cable, it braided. I mean, do you still have those Franklin Christoph consigned pens from a few months ago? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I actually don't. I don't believe they're actually gonna. They're probably not gonna make the live site on Friday because the images haven't been edited for those yet. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. We just kind of had to. We've been kind of having to play. What's critical, and we're. Excuse me. The newsletter is supposed to go out tomorrow, and we questioned whether or not we were going to be ready to send the newsletter. And we might push it back to Wednesday, but it should go out tomorrow. I thought Tuesday would be enough time for people to arrange their schedule or do whatever they were going to do or put it on the schedule. So I don't. So right now, Lindsay's working hard on the podcast assets, and I got a peek at one this morning, and it blew me away. It's what a job, and I hope she hears this video sometime. I don't think she probably won't, but what a job. She must have sent it to Lisa, and Lisa sent it to me, and I just kept hitting play. I got to hear this again. I got to watch this again. This is cool. It was really neat. I mean, I knew everything that was in there, but the way she, she pieced all these pieces together, and it's proud dad moment. Good job, super good job. So, so yeah, so a new animated stationary thing to make bad jokes. We haven't done that yet. Um, we actually haven't talked about it. We can have the conversation. The problem is it's a little extra work, and right now I know Lindsay's going to be already. She's not going to be caught up. She's already behind. Um, Now, once we have an animation, and that's not her specialty really, so I don't know how that's going to work, but I don't know. She surprised me thus far, so um, it just might be a little, even if it's like 2 extra hours or an extra hour a week. It's maybe an extra hour a week. I'd rather have her editing images so that we can put product on the website. So I don't know. I will bring it up. Um, and see what the plausibility is. Because I know you can ask your web developer. You know, I you would be the one to tell me, okay? I I know this is I know he wants to help, and he's been an amazing help. I just know this is not like his thing, and I don't I don't want to ask him for too much help, and I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's not what he does, so I don't want to assume that he would want to do any more than what he did, I guess. Because I have some other things, that some other feedback that we got that maybe he would be familiar with since he was working with the theme, but I don't know. I don't want to assume anything. VTuber avatar. You just got a day for after you announce anything, something more directly connected to the new company. Something more directly connected to the new company you can tell jokes. A VTuber based on the new company aesthetic, so to speak. Frame is asking for advice. Don't be afraid to ask. Well, I mean, I don't want to overstep my bounds. That's all. That's all I'm saying. You're being obscure on purpose for the moment. I think I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, Plain Water. Because like Hans, there were some mobile issues, and I would like to look at those. Now, the budget's shot until I start making some money, so you know, um, even today I was like, oh, how am I going to pay for shipping? These stupid things. But anyway, so yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Plain Water. That's an interesting idea. Interesting idea. Yeah, yeah. That could be cute. That could be cute. I don't. Um, yeah. Um, so today I get up, I get ready. I'm ready to go. I'm up early, sort of. Um, and I got the computer on. I get my stuff out. I get my packages. I realize I don't have one particular box. I've got like all the normal, like we normally ship flat rate envelopes or in priority mail boxes. And for most things, they fit into, one of two size packages. And I have those here at the house. So I have enough to get me through today, except for one order was a little bit larger. So I needed a larger box. And I'm like, okay, well, I can go over to the warehouse. That's where I keep all the spare boxes. I haven't brought them all over to the house yet. All the boxes I ordered from the U.S. Postal Service have not arrived yet. So I'm really not sure what's going to happen. It's going to be a huge mess if they don't show up this week. Um, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go. I can drive the car. It just I haven't driven it in a while, and backing it out of the driveway's kind of a hassle. So I go out to the garage. I open the door. The light does not come on in the car, which is never a good sign. And I put the key in. Vlad, good morning. I put the key in, and of course, nothing happens. So the battery is dead on the car because I haven't driven it since May, maybe. So I got to put that on the charger, and I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, well, I've got a bike. Got a bike. I hope the tubes are good. I haven't ridden the bike in forever, so that particular bike. Pump up the tires, the tubes hold air. Great, perfect. I go inside. I got like, okay, now I got to find my panniers. I don't know where the heck they are. I have two really nice ones. They should be big enough to hold the boxes that I need. Finally find that. Got to find my helmet. Great. The warehouse is half a mile. I mean, it was, I don't know, was it 3 minutes? I mean, it was boom there. I'm there. Great. Pick up what I need. Come back. Finish my packing. I start shipping. And my scale doesn't work. Now, I ordered a new scale because actually I ordered a scale last week. The scale came and the scale did not integrate with my shipping software. So that didn't work. That didn't pan out. We went down the list of options, and they were either no longer available, or these are all ones that were supposed to work with the software that we're using. They were either no longer available or not available in the US, or were $1,200. We don't need that. And it got down to two, and one happened to be, it was only 25 pounds. And sometimes we ship packages over 25 pounds. If somebody buys a lot of ink or something, it can get over 25 pounds. So I said, well, the other one is less and goes up to $70. And guess what? It's the same exact scale I have. So I ordered it. So right now I'm using the old one, which I can't read the readout, but it's not connecting to the software, so I can't weigh the package. And this is the first time I've used this software for more than just mailing one package that I just made up, in order for. Trying to figure that out. Finally figure it out. Reboot the computer. Check if there's a connection software that connects the printers and the scales to the shipping software. Finally get that figured out. It won't print the label. It won't print the label to the label printer. But if I save the label and view it in the browser, or view the label in the browser, then I can print it. So I don't know what the deal with that is, because on my other computer, it always did work, and it's roughly the exact same configuration. So I haven't figured it out. Try to get on chat. Guess what? My plan doesn't support chat, so I have to submit a support request. The heck with this. I've got a workaround that's good enough. So it took me like probably 10 times as long to ship 4 packages today. 4 packages. Yeah, I mean, it took me until, and then the mail, then the mail came to the house at 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, I'm not ready. I can't. I was planning to go out, and meet the mail person and say, hey, listen, there's going to be packages coming, pretty soon, a lot. Can you stop, park the truck and walk up the walkway. It was before 10:30, and I was still packing stuff up. I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. So now, yeah, yeah, all right. So now I'm mad. I'm just frustrated. My mouse is working sporadically. I suspect it's a battery, so I gotta get a new battery for it. Heaven only knows where those are in this house. Nothing is where it should be, right? even 8 months after, and I think Wednesday, I believe, is 8 months that we've been here, 8 or 9 months that we've been here. And so I'm like, sometimes I dropped the mouse and then the mouse stopped working. Like, come on. Okay, so but I want to finish this process. I'm mad now. Um, so now I'm like, okay, well, I had only put one pannier on my bike. I'm gonna go and put the because I have two. Yeah, yeah, we're creatures of habit, so pretty normal, right? Um, so I've got two panniers, but now see now I gotta we'll get to repairs at some point today, but you are my sounding board today because it was just like um so I find my other pannier and then I realize, oh, Lisa had two of them and they all look roughly the same. Mine were a little bit bigger, so now I'm like, okay, well that's cool. The one I had taken in the morning to go get the boxes and drop some things off at the warehouse was smaller. So great. Now I've got the bigger one. I've got to find a bike lock because I'm going to go to the post office and I'm not just going to leave my bike out front. Even if it is 60 seconds, I need a lock. I'm going to lock it. And I find a lock and I can't get it open. Well, first I find one in the garage. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This will work. I go in. I remember, oh, I used to keep the lock in the pannier. So here's the second one. Forgetting, not knowing, not remembering, Lisa had two panniers as well. And I'm trying to get it open with the code I usually use, and it doesn't open. And I'm like, this is nuts. This is driving me nuts. And I look down. I'm like, oh wait, these are the wrong panniers. This must be Lisa's. Here's mine. Guess what? It opens with the code. Okay, great. So I go out, put those on, get back on the bike, load the panniers up with the packages, ride my bike. It's a mile and a half to the post office. It's mostly downhill on the way there. Lock it up, drop them off. Have a hard time getting the lock off because now I'm like all frazzled, right? Ride my bike back. So I've got like 6.5 miles in today on my day off from cycling because I took a little tool around the block too while I was at it. So yeah. Don't be surprised your email's edgy. It's sometimes related to a game you love. I'll mention Mister with the back of steel or diamonds in the time. But everything went out. I think I've got it. It's not going to take as long the next time, which is good. And there was an international package which was a little tricky, and I think my shipping provider was having some issues today because I was actually trying to change some things in my account settings, and it was like, yeah, we can't do that. We're not doing that today. So I think there was a problem with the software. Um, but we got it in, by the time I got done, it was like noon. I'm like, okay, well that should have taken 30 minutes. Yeah, well, and so the thing is we used to use ShipStation, which is really a phenomenal piece of software. Is really very good. It is completely overkill for um, what I need to start out with, and I mean, the, the cost is completely overkill for what I mean. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm going to have 100 orders a day every day. So I think ShipStation's probably yeah. So but I've been using its kind of sister application, Shipping Easy, which is not really easy. Um, but it works okay. Um, so the plan will be is at some level, and I got to remember what that level is. At some level, I'm going to switch back over to ShipStation. But it's cheaper for me to start with Shipping Easy because I also have a balance in the account I wanted to use up. But you can never use them up, right? Yeah, with something easy in its name, it's not. So you can manually use ShipStation for PayPal, but it's not at all easy. Good for a pinch or away from home. Yeah. Um, Shipping Easy's been okay so far, but I mean, it's been a combination of things, right? It's been like the scale isn't working, and my scale I can't read it. The display is destroyed, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it is, even because like even if it didn't, the connection didn't work, you could look at the scale and go, oh, it's 5 ounces, and you just enter that in. Well, I can't even do that, right? So it has to connect. I found a workout around that because I could get it to read to. There's a connection software that connects. That's kind of an intermediary between the hardware and shipping easy, called Connect Easy. And I could get it to talk to that, and I can get the scale to talk, the printer to talk to that, but they're not talking to the software. So I suspect you just sent me a text. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look at it. Oh, that's a long text. I will read that. I will read that. I will read that in a bit. That's a long. So anyway, it was quite an ordeal of a morning. I did get some mileage in. I took a couple of side trips, which was kind of fun. There's a little park right next to the post office. It's got a little lake. It's quite a lovely little place, but it's got a kind of a hilly up and down circle around the park. So I took that, spun around that, went home. Tried not to get killed by traffic. Um, you were as brief as possible. Yeah, he's got time. Okay, great. Yeah, if software costs 500,000 per month. Yeah, it needs. Yeah, I mean, even at this point in the game, everybody wants $20 to $100 a month. Well, I mean, you multiply that times how many apps do you need, right? We used to have, we had separate apps for search engine, wish list, reviews, shipping. Let us not forget an integration, QuickBooks, an integration from our host to QuickBooks. That's another $90 a month. I mean, and this stuff all adds up, and you got to have it all in place before you start so you can test to make sure it works right. So, yeah. But it's coming along. It's coming along. We're getting organized. I think we're ready. The little video animation I got from my daughter this morning, and actually she has not been replying to me, so I don't know if she's not getting my text or she's working hard. Um, it's really, really, it's great. It makes me smile, and if it makes me smile, um, I know it's gonna make most everybody else smile. And if it doesn't make you smile, then I can't help you. Making apps not easy. Calendar, for example, is 2025. There's no real cross-platform calendar app yet. I use Google Calendar, and it seems to work reasonably well for me. In fact, um, I just created a calendar for the new company this morning. So we put all our shipping notices and our launch things and stuff. Yeah, if you don't want Google, you're out of luck. Yeah. Have I missed any announcements in the last couple of weeks? Well, if you're not on my mailing list, and email me here if you want to make sure you're on the mailing list. We're sending an email out tomorrow, in theory. Tomorrow, Wednesday at the very latest. But just send me an email. Give me your email address, and I'll put it on the mailing list. And then you will, yes, yeah, send it to me today. Um, and the mailer is going to go out tomorrow with the mailer's already basically written up. We just need to assemble it. It's real. It's a real simple mailer. Um, there's there's no way to make. We thought long and hard about the mailer. It's not your typical. Hey, here's what's new in the pen world. Here's the new TWSBI Serpentine Bronze. Here's the new Schaefer Expressions. Here's the new ink. Here's the new paper. It's none of that. It is none of that. It is a wall of text. But we felt it important to go through what's going on. And you know, and more power to you if you read all the way down to the bottom. If you don't, we've got a TLDR right at the top. So, and it'll give you the link to the live, which I think if I've got it figured out right, there is a way to give you a link to a live. A CAD picture would be a welcome addition at some point. Yeah, check the about us when you get it. Well, I have put the website down in maintenance mode, so thank you. I just saw it come through. I oddly enough, you know, the website was in preview mode, and when I made it live at the end of last week for our Twitch testers, I couldn't take it back into preview mode. Preview mode allows you to give somebody a code, and then they can type the code in, and then they can view the code they can view the website for 5 minutes, and then you did read the about us. Okay, good. There will be pictures there at some point, but I figured it was like so kind of low priority. But once we made the site live, preview mode goes away, and there's only maintenance mode, which doesn't give anybody the option to do anything. So, which I was really kind of upset with because I didn't realize that was going to happen. But I just thought it was easier for people who are going to be looking at the site to not have to be timed out every 5 minutes and, you know, trying to make a sale. And, you know, you get timed out in the middle of typing in your credit card, and that's just no good. So, going to send us the odds on an impending horse race. Yeah, no. But so the mailer go out tomorrow. That's the hope. And then like the cat's out of the bag. So, then I guess we don't have to be quiet about what we call ourselves. But it'll be a reasonably wall. No, it's an okay wall of text. We trimmed it down. But we sort of, I kind of wanted it to be really short, but for certain reasons we have to have a few things. Less affordable pens for you launches on Friday. Yeah. Damn it, you weren't supposed to say anything. For certain reasons, we have to emphasize certain points. Just because, I mean, we're in the unenviable position that someone could try to sue us again. So, anyway, I'm not going to get into it. So anyway, you get the mail tomorrow. Sign up. If you know anybody that you want to double check to make sure they're on the list, just have them email me, brian@esterbrook.net. I will double check later on this evening. Make sure you're on the list, and I'll confirm with you, and I'll send you an email reply back to make sure you're on the list. If you were on the list before, and I know there was somebody yesterday or a couple of days ago that sent me a request, had previously unsubscribed from the list, I have to resend a resubscribe notice, and you have to opt in again. And so there's no way for me to resubscribe you on the same email address if you've unsubscribed before, which when you think about it is how it should be. So you just have to kind of, I don't know how that works because I hit the thing that says send resubscribe link, and then you get a notice, and then it's up to you. So, or give me a different email address. That's the other option. Anyway, other things. Yeah. So Friday is, don't mention healthcare. That cost me many Namiki emperors a year. Oh, you want to start shops in Europe? Yeah. All right. Okay. So now that I'm done yammering about that for a half an hour, Um, I will probably maybe quite possibly in an hour. I might have to step out. We've got an Amazon delivery. Apparently, our Stream Deck that we use for YouTube lives burned up. So I kind of need that. I need that for Friday. So um, uh, that's coming via Amazon today. And unfortunately, last week we discovered um, we have a porch pirate in the neighborhood, and somebody stole something off of our porch. Well, it got really, really hot and then blacked out. Yeah, it didn't start on fire, but it got apparently like extremely hot to the touch. It's kind of like my laptop probably. And then the LEDs all burned out. So, just not usable. But so we got a porch pirate in the neighborhood, and I really don't want them stealing my Stream Deck, my new Stream Deck when it comes. So, we've got all sorts of bells and whistles in place, and I don't have a ring yet. So Lisa's monitoring it and going to text me when they show up so that I can go down and grab it. Yeah, I'm sure it's out of warranty. I mean, we only had it. I guess it's been more than a year. So anyway, I mean, it's we got a lot going on. I don't have time to relearn anything else. So and it works for what we need it for. All right, let's take a look at what we got. I got a little bit of management here to handle. I got to put some pens and binders, and then we've got a couple of desk sets today. And if I can, since I took pens out of binders, I now have binders. In fact, I'm buying binders from one of my consigners because she sent me pens and binders, and while they're very inexpensive, they're reasonably nice quality. So I can always use binders, and I actually had both zippers or both zipper pulls off of one of my 96 pen cases came off. And one of them, the part that attaches to the zipper broke. I can still move it with my fingers, but I there's nothing to attach a pull to. So even that is, that's kind of screwed up. So I've got new binders, and I'm going to put all these pens that I haven't yet polished. I'm going to put them in the binders. It's just so I can get this crap off my desk. So, and then we got these guys to deal with. I've got these nice binders. They're pretty nice. And I'm just going to fill up some of this stuff. And these are different from everything else I use, so I'll know that these are pens that need to be polished instead of pens that are done. What sort of binders do I recommend for pens? I am a big fan of the Girologio. I think they're the leather ones for $1, the bang for the buck, the $1 per pen. Especially if you need some larger sizes. The 48s or the 96s. I mean, 96s most people don't need, but 48s, nice quality. You can toss these things around. We took these things to 100, maybe close to 100 shows, and they really survived well. I mean, and we were not careful with them. They've got a few badges of honor, I guess, but few scuffs and scratches and stuff, but overall they're really, really pretty good. Let's see where we started. Monash had the best binders ever, but they're extremely hard to find. I'm not familiar with those. The only thing I don't like about the Girologio is they're not really designed very well for like displaying pens at a show because they have double loops, so you lose like all visibility of what you've got in them. Um, and you know, if you're trying to show off your pens, the single loops just they look better. They don't, you know, they single loops have their own issues. I mean, you know, these can bounce around and hit each other. But the double loops, yeah, they're great. And the Girologio, they're hard to beat. They're really hard to beat. I do love them, and I guess I was glad that both the zippers went bad on one of them, and it wasn't like one zipper on one and um, second zipper on another or something. You know, it was both on the same one, and I use them. I use them a lot. I take them to every pen show I go to. I mean, not all of them all the time, but um, they get a lot of use. You need something small to store pens in good quality. Whenever you look at some shops, prices are wild. Yeah. Um, your favorite of the 34 pen Pilot hard cases they made for salespeople? They're very compact and protect well. I like the what are they? The Pilot. What are they? 15? Yeah, yeah. Mario sold Girologio a long time ago. Yeah, that's old news. Old news. Uh, and for the better, quite frankly. Um, but yeah, those the hard cases with the snaps in the front, and they hold like 15 or something like that. They're really quite nice. Although they do get a little, they wear a little bit, but they stack, you know. And someone keeps trying to buy yours at the seminar. I mean, they're not terribly easy to transport, so there is that. I've got some. Oh, what are they? Leather. Shoot, what are they? Really nice. The really expensive ones. My consigner sent me. Um, Aston. I got a bunch of those. Those are going to go up on the website. They're like 24s. But I don't think you can get a better value than a Girologio. It's the old two-sided Visconti cases. The what was it? The silk ones that they had were kind of nice. You saw this, I guess it's okay-ish. Oh, the Pilot roll. Yeah, the Pilot roll is, I mean, they're going to be a little more expensive. I always look at dollar value per slot is what I look at. Um, the Tasha, I mean, you know, and it depends on what you're looking for, right? I mean, you know, Vlad's right. The Tasha silk pen rolls, phenomenal. I mean, even the non-silk rolls are cheaper. Um, I mean, I've got one here. In fact, I like them so well that I had my mother, um, or my mother-in-law make a copy of one for me. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, well, I should give it like probably a single. But they make a nice 8-pen roll. I mean, I had no problem using those. Yeah, I'm sure it's a single. Yeah, right. I had no problem using the Tasha 8-pen rolls, the non-silk version, so the polyester. With, and putting $10,000 worth of pens in there. Back when we were, carting around $100,000 in Mach-E, it was, some was in this holder, some was in that holder. They were nice. They're well made. Can't go wrong with them. Sailor doesn't give you anything. Yeah, and Pilot doesn't have much, and they're usually very expensive. They got a couple of nice, smaller single pen kind of options, but Sailor's made a few cases in the past, but I don't want to say ridiculously expensive. They're very expensive, I think, for what you're getting. All right, so that's first one. Oops. They're nice leather for sure. But they're, what were they like? Their 12th pen was $100 or something like that. Kind of a lot of money, I thought. Do you have the Schaefer pen folios? Are those the red ones, the vinyl red ones, with the gray interiors? You think even a decent cheap case is environmentally better? A box often going to be thrown away. Yeah. Yeah, I used to have a bunch of those. I should have saved one, but oops. You could have them again. Yeah, those are like what, 90s vintage? Something like that. You've made a leather hard pen case before and you've toyed around with doing softer pen roll. Oh, there you go. Oh, this is going to be so nice to get all this stuff organized. You're feeling good enough to send me a package. Oh, man. I got into trouble for the last one, buddy. I mean, she gets it, but like it's probably one of those cases where there's been like a whole lot of promise of selling this stuff, and none of it's sold yet. So she needs to see some things move. No, she's not mad at you. She couldn't be mad at you. She loves you. Me, on the other hand. All right, see, yeah, these loops aren't going to work for this pen because it's not going to. You know what I'm going to do? You just fill orders, yeah, yeah. You weren't the one that. I mean, you may have offered them. I didn't have to buy them. I was this close to saying, no. Yeah, she did make pie. She did make pie. She's a good sport. You'd be more afraid of Lisa being mad at you than me. I mean, I'm hard to be mad at for too long. I usually don't screw up too bad. I remember this tray. I forgot we did this tray. Oh, I almost forgot anyway. Some of these fun, inexpensive. Yeah, I'd rather not have any of your friends. Yeah, that's like the best option, isn't it? Nobody's mad. Yeah, they're kind of fun. These are little fun little guys. This one's, well, at least that's got a, oh, that actually fits better than the Lady Shaper. All right, which one is this? This one's got to be this big guy, probably. Good afternoon, Jason. How are you? Your package shipped this morning. Which was a miracle in and of itself. It was personally delivered to the post office via bicycle. The woman at the time, I think I didn't actually pay attention. I had my Strava on, so I could get credit for the mileage, right? And I was thinking it's 2 miles to the post office, which is not a huge deal. And I get there, and it's kind of a post office. It's in a little small podunk nothing, it's great. It's really great. And I'm thinking it's 2 miles from the house. No big deal. I ride 20 miles a day, so 2 miles on a bike lane, piece of cake, right? And I get there, and it turns out it's actually 1.5 miles. I get there, and there's a good group of ladies at the post office. I like them. I like them very much. They're good sports. They're not. Sometimes you get male postal people who are they're there punching the clock, and it's never pretty. But these ladies are real good sports. I like them a lot. And she looks at me, and I got my helmet on, and she kind of peers out over the window. She's like, "You rode?" I said, "Well, yeah. I said my car broke down this morning, so I had no other option but to ride my bike in." And she goes, "Well, how far is it?" I said, "Oh, it's about 2 miles." And she looked at me like I had just grown horns out of the top of my head. That's hilarious. Like, well, this is 2 miles. I don't even own a bike. Maybe you should get one. I can't help you there. This one. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. This one's not making a cut, folks. I'm sorry, you can't have this one. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I will see. This one's nice too, though. But I think I'm gonna let this one go. I think this one was like a really, really fine nib. Yeah. It's too flashy for the website. What do we say that? What do we say? This is about 3 1/4. Probably about right. Yeah. I should probably make a note of that. I think I'd kind of rather have $325. I know, and it's weird, right? Because yeah, because I got the. I mean, I like this one far more. It's a 325. Um, I might be helping more with that repair bill need to let the wallet cool off a little though. I like this one far more for some reason. It's just so much more interesting to me. It does have a crack in the cap, so the value is not as much. So me keeping it is like, um, yeah. And this is not hard rubber though. This is I wish it were. Permanite, yeah, yeah. That question mark makes me wonder. Well, it smells. It doesn't smell like rubber. I mean, I'm rubbing it pretty good here. It's not getting warm or very warm. I mean, if it's hard rubber and I'm wrong, I'd love to be proven wrong on that one, but I definitely keep it. Mm, smells like plastic to me. I mean, were there not 325s in permanite? I'm outside of my element here, so I'm not happy to be schooled, but it doesn't smell like rubber. Well, for now, it's going to sit in here, but I think it's. They made 325s in jade. Wow. I remember a long time ago I had some, I think they were also 325s in permanite in this color. And I posted something online and I want to say it was Cheryl Tyree's like, yeah, no, those aren't hard rubber. She like shot me down. She's like, yeah, no, they're not hard rubber, not at all. Because I had a pencil and like a ring top or something. You won't bother checking. I mean, for your own edification, why not? But there, that looks so much better in there. I've got actually some room on my stand over here. You think all hard rubber shavers have some kind of chasing? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that gets rid of. I just got rid of. You won't believe. 9 slaughter trays off of my side table here. Yeah, these. I forget what these. These you can get these on Amazon. Actually, these are Kaco, Kaco. But they're like a linen, and then they've got a double. They're kind of nice. I mean, they're not super stiff. I mean, you can kind of bend them if you wanted to, but they've got for light banging around. They're keeping things organized at home or whatever. I think they're just fine. Um, So I'm not even gonna make them for sale. You know, normally stuff like that. So I get pens in for consignment. People give them to me in cases, and I sell everything. You know, I sell whatever they give me, I sell. You know, I sell the cases, I sell this, and sometimes I just end up buying it from them because I'm like, well, I need the I need the case. Afternoon, Indy. So, and I want to say new, those are like $25 or something. You know, so they don't cost me much to buy. All right, what do we got here? So we got a couple 444s. This one's kind of. Oh, do I have the case in here? I was napping. Glad you woke up in time to catch the show. Yeah. You're not at work, are you? Sleeping at work? Glenn, how you doing? Got this. Yeah, I don't know about those red vinyl cases. How many do they hold? Those Schaefer cases. No, I'll retire. Okay. No one way you can find out. Come on, man. Don't. I gotta. You know. You know. I'm supposed to get. I'm looking at my wrist like I have a watch on it. I don't have a watch on it. I'm supposed to get my sack delivery tomorrow. Not gonna happen. Only good way to benefit being over 65. Yeah. Right. I'll find out someday. Procrastinate, don't want to get on heat. Yeah, I mean, the temperature rose 4 degrees in between, like, in the course of like an hour when I went out to go get shipping boxes to when I ended up going to the post office. It was like nuts. It was like riding my bike through soup. All right, so I decided what we're going to do today. And by the way, this is probably, yeah, this is probably going to be our last Monday stream. You need a new bulb for your magnifying lamp, but it's too hot to go out. Yeah. This is probably going to be our last Monday stream only because I just. Oh, wow. Isn't that something? I won't be able to really keep up with, especially if shipping takes remotely as long as it took me today. We're counting the rods in the 444. Does anybody remember what the previous number was? Because Hans is not feeling well, so I think this would put a smile on his face. That is sad. Streams make Monday much more pleasant, but it sounds like the right choice. Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'm not 100% certain, but a lot, yeah. Was it 92? No, it was. I thought it was 200 something. I don't remember. Um, I may find myself doing shipping on like Sundays and stuff too. I don't know. And if I do that, then I might have more time on Mondays. Look at that. Pour one out for Mondays. Shipping stream with beer. Now, did anybody go and buy that Kentucky Brewing Company tangerine and cream that I mentioned the other day? That stuff is yummy. It's definitely my treat for a hard day's worth of work. Yeah, I know you barely left your house. And I don't know why they don't sell it there. That is so weird. Well, the next time we get together, I'll have to bring you some because it is quite nice. It's just something different, you know. It's just not. You've got to go look. It's you know, it's. I'd say it's probably not for everybody, but it's such a subtle flavor that probably should have done the other one. Yeah, yeah. Welcome when preferably when you're not sick. Yeah. You just spotted Diamine doing pigmented inks, but you don't need any more ink. Yeah. Kind of surprised they don't have some already. I mean, they got 300 colors, don't they? You buy the Game of Thrones writing set they have? KBC beer is my favorite in fall, winter, especially for that ABV. They're all pretty good. All right, is anybody taking bets on the number here? These are wet, so they're not sliding very well. This could be a great thing for like a lottery. You know, like they always have the guess the number of gumballs in the jar kind of contest. They have one of these at a pen show. Guess how many rods in the 444? Oh shoot, lost one. You would like to see how they made them? Yeah. Oh, there it is. It helps that these are very dark black. And I've got a brown rock. If I counted correctly, I'm not going to double check my math. 168. Glenn was pretty good there. This is the hardest part, really, is getting these stinking things back in. Thanks for entertaining us. Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to take the rest of the stream just to figure out how to get these all in that same little space. Because I know what you want to know next. Is how many is in the other one? AOL just ended its dial-up service. It just seriously? Somebody was still using that? I remember that, those days. Not AOL. I never had AOL. I remember wishing back in the day that you could do something with those discs that you'd get in the mail. Like, I don't need AOL, but Coral Radite. Yeah. The early 46 models with chasing. Yeah, and the 46 had that cool chasing pattern on it, too. Man. You were really good at taking the AOL stickers off the floppies? Yeah, dial up was something else. I remember getting my first internet service and I was just like, I also remember the first time that I tried to call home but couldn't get through because the computer was connected to the internet. And I remember how mad I was because I was trying to get a ride home. I was with my boss at the time and we were entertaining some clients or some friends or something, and he had picked me up and I didn't have a car, so I said, you know what, I'll just call home and I'll get a ride. And we had far too many beverages in South Florida heat. I said, well, I guess I'm going to start walking. And it was like, miles. And it was before cell phones. So I'd have to stop every once in a while to call and see if the phone was available because I wasn't expected to be home. I was, said I'm going to be, I'm going to be out entertaining clients, and that was that. And I decided I didn't want to do that. And I could not get through. And so I ended up having to spend, I forget what it was. Back in the day, it was probably $60 or $70 because I was tired of walking. I may have walked for an hour. I said, yeah, no more of that. You convince your parents you need a second phone line by staying connected for 36 hours straight. That'll do it. They had to use mom's cell phone, which was several dollars a minute to call. We had the second line the following week. Yeah. Yeah, this is before I actually had a. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. We didn't have cell phones back then. Kind of sounds like the Dark Ages, doesn't it? I mean, it's like this was maybe like 1999, maybe. I mean, I had a cell phone for work. It was not small. I hope that's. That should do it. Fuzzy, how are you? I don't remember what happened. I just remember getting home and like I barely had enough money in cash to pay the guy, cab driver. Yeah, I didn't actually get a cell phone until about 2000. Popping in for a little bit, great. I guess it was probably 2000, 2001, maybe. Yeah. You missed the exciting part, Fuzzy. 168 tiny little rods. I did it just for Hans because Hans isn't feeling so great, so we need a little entertainment. Supreme Court denied the recount. Yeah, but there's another one here. Oh, my daughter sent me something. Hang on. Uh, I can't wait till you can see what my daughter did. It's so good. It's just so good. Oh, it's just fun. And why not have a little fun? All right. I'm going to put a little small. You don't need a cold born pen binding. Yeah. Yeah, we've already got that in this world. Mm. It's really, really tough to get this in. This rubber has just gotten really, really hard. Trying to get some silicone on this just to lube it up a little bit. That's better. Is there a better choice for permanent ink than carbon black? It's kind of a really good option. There we go. I've actually got carbon black on order. And Cho Curl. That should be here. I don't know if it's going to be here by Friday. But I'm shooting for it. You had clumping at the bottom of the nib. Might be time to replace that bottle. Funny thing, I don't have a single pair of regular pliers here. Oh, well, that didn't work. Bottle is not 2 years old. Well, I mean, anything could have happened. That's the problem. I mean, 2 years is still a long time. All it takes is one nib that's not, clean, perfectly clean to get in there that affects the whole bottle. Your newest ink you can't use in your fine pens. I got a good deal on Pelikan Golden Lapis, pretty blue and shimmery. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like I sign up for Pelican Hub. I'm just going to be a regular old attendee this year. I don't know what I'm going to do with the bottle of ink. I mean, what am I going to put that in? What pen do I have that's going to be easy to clean out? Was you eco T? Yeah, I mean it could. Yeah. Do you ink up the U.S. Navy 444 base I bought, or leave it as it sits? It has newer, never seen ink. As far as I can tell, it still has the paper instructions inside. Oh, it's got the little paper disc inside. That's cool. Uh, yeah, sign up. I think it's till what is it? Till the 21st, I think, for the Pelican Hub. Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see who signs up for our Appleton location. You might have signed up twice with two different emails for two different cities. You do it right, you can hit both of them in the same night. You're not going to be hub master this time. Good for you. I tell you, I was very tempted to check the box because nobody else is going to check the box. That's the thing. And I'm not driving. There'll be one in Milwaukee or Madison, but I'm not driving to Milwaukee or Madison for it. The only reason I would do it is if, like, my buddy Dave would come with me. He'd have to persuade me to do it. Might be a good excuse to get the vet out or something. I don't know. But stop for yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you'd have to. I don't know where they do it, but all right. What do we think? 106. Wouldn't it be something if it was the same or it was one off or something? And then you go, well, did he count right? Did he miss one? These are pretty clean. Normally you would see some ink residue on here, even dry. One, two, skip a few, 99. Ah, a little bit easier when they're wet. They don't roll around as well. You're not going to believe this. I dropped one. Just one. Yeah, I just dropped just one. It might have gone in my pocket. Oh, I have no idea. I don't know where it went. What I'm going to say is that it's not as consistent as we thought it might be. Hmm. Yeah, I lost one. $100. Are you ready for this? Now, if we count the one I lost, because I did, I mean, if we count the one I lost, it was 151. So Glenn would have been spot on here. You lost a lot of your marbles. Stuff happens. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'll probably still work with one missing. The function of the rods is the rods hold, um, they keep the ink um, absorbed in between the rods so that when the pen is sitting in the inkwell, uh, it's always wet. So once I get this, this is, not my favorite process right now. Because these stupid things got to fit in the little channel here. I'm sure it has to do with, I guess, if one studied flow dynamics or something like that. It has to do with the total volume, probably the space around each rod that holds ink. You're selling a car, Andy? See you next time, Fuzzy. Thanks for stopping in. Man, I hate this. Why do I do this? Hans, I'm never doing this again. It is the right thing to do to get them clean. Tomorrow, 2 more to do. Yeah, right. Only if Hans sends them to me. You have 3 left, but they're in your collection. I think you should count them. I got a bad feeling I'm going to have to dump these out because I think this isn't going to fit. You will probably sneeze and get them everywhere if you try it now. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, we got a couple of them coming out the back here. All right. Yeah, it's shedding rust. So there's what it looks like. This holds everything in place. Try to squeeze it down as far as possible. Okay, so the ink will absorb up in there and it will stay in there. If there was no rods in there, this would just sit in ink because this sits on the bottom here. This sits kind of touching the bottom of the well here. Okay, so it's always going to be sucking up and absorbing ink. If there were no rods, it wouldn't, there wouldn't be anything to absorb and pull the ink up. And so when your pen you can see the rods right there. So when I take my pen, you can kind of see I just made a clearing. That's where the nib was. So the nib is always sitting inside wet in ink. And because it has a feed, it's always absorbing ink. So I always like to put mine in upside down. Yeah, capillary action draws the ink out. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool design, that's for sure. Nice. Okay. A little polish. These are tough because even like your fingerprints, once they're shiny, your fingerprints will get them all. Like you polish them and then like don't touch them. But I mean, there's a lot of dirt on there. Some of it's ink, you know, having dropped on. It's dust. It's Ew. A nice, almost a mirror shine. There's a little bit of dirt still on there. I mean, you compare it to that one, and it's just probably I bet like a Windex or something might actually work really well on this. It's impossible to get it perfect, but that's a lot better than that guy. That one's done. Be cool if they did a matte black one, but you know, that's kind of a 2020 kind of thing, isn't it? Hard to say which one's my favorite, this version or the later version. Dinner's finished, you got to run. All right, have a good dinner. Enjoy yourself. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna have to wash this tonight. I keep saying that. So hard to get this nice. Sometimes you're just gonna have to be good enough. Beautiful. That one's a little bit looser, but beautiful design. Okay. Probably finish this pen. Still got a little crimp on that left tine. Right side, pretty decent. I need to get a nib block out here. Yeah, yeah, we're thinking on the same. Yeah, I'll take the nib block out once I can get the. This one just needs a little. I gotta figure out where my nib block is. Take care, Glenn. Have a great rest of your evening. So the tines are coming in and they're kind of touching right here. And then there's a space at the end. So that it's coming down and it's not quite right. Trying to determine which side is truly causing the problem. I think it's the right time. Got this situation. Highly exaggerated, of course, but they're really tight there, and they're a little bit separated at the tip. Problem is it's actually flexible, so it's really kind of dangerous. When you look at it on the side, you get something like that, which is, of course, again, highly exaggerated. So you gotta bend there, you gotta bend there, you gotta bend there. And this is sometimes why I know pros do this like in one sitting. I don't like to do it in one sitting. But it's better than where it started. Let me see if I got a nib block. All right. Well, this isn't the one I wanted to find, but this will work. This is a bit of history in this one. This is a John Motteshaw nib block, number 38. Knockout block, nib block, the whole ball of wax. And these are heavy. They're extremely, extremely heavy. Ah, I took my tape away. That'll work. Yeah, I think that's why some folks are making them out of acrylic. Um, I I actually have uh I collect nib blocks. Um, I have this one, which I believe is the only one that actually has a knockout tool. It's not a very effective knockout tool though, because it's really more of a nib setting tool because you can't really, it's not deep enough. Um, but I have this one. I have a Stetler, which if you're familiar with the Stetler one, the Stetler is obviously doesn't have this. It's highly polished. It is ridiculously polished. Um, and then I have another one that was made by, I forget who made it. Um, you have the Stetler, the highly polished ones. There's another one that was made. Well, I say recently, and by recently I mean like maybe 15 years ago. Similar to the Stetler, but not, kind of more of a matte finish. But then the ends are kind of chamfered. It's really kind of a nice clean design. So, and I always got one because the Stetler is just too pretty to use. I wish I had it. I could show you where it is. Don't know. Don't know where it is. I literally dug my hand down in a box of repair supplies, and then I picked up the first thing that was heavy, and that's what this one was. So, well, it actually doesn't help that this nib is split very oddly. And what John would do, put a piece of plastic over it. Protect the finish. But I think we're getting as good or better results from underneath. It's getting better. And that's the problem. It's this is it seems to be that these some of these South American export nibs were flexible. I mean, this is just. I mean, you can't really see that. Zoom in. It's got a little softness to it. I mean, it's really. I'm not on the caliber of nib worker as Linda Kennedy or Bonashar or any of those guys, but um, this is really pretty good. I mean, it's as good as. And I'm not fishing for compliments, but it's not terrible. It's still tight, so we're gonna have to fix that problem. But it looks like the breather hole is actually. There's like extra metal on here on this part. Like it's like it barely was wide enough. Yeah, you can still see a little wave to it. I gotta go grab my Amazon. I'll be right back. Oh, wasn't so hot out. You want another cup of coffee? Yeah, I know. I don't think I had. I know I didn't finish my pot of coffee this morning. I was just so frustrated with everything that was going on. I didn't have time for coffee, and I was getting, you get agitated and you get hot, and then you're drinking coffee, and you've had 3 cups of tea so far. Yeah, my doc doesn't want me to have more than 1 cup of soda, 1 can of soda a day, and I like twice this month I've had 2. So I mean, it's not every day, but today I was like, yeah, I'm having 2. All right, no porch pirate was going to steal those 2 packages. Oh, they might have stolen one, but one of them was. Amazon actually has these really great storage shelves, storage racks. They're 6 feet high, wire mesh 5 shelf racks. You just can't beat the price. I've lost count of how many I bought. 10, 12 of these things. And the last time I bought some, I bought like 9 of them because I buy extras. You can't buy the shelves themselves. So if you want, and 5 is like it's too much space in between. So what I do is I buy extras and I use the shelves. As long as you don't exceed the weight limit, but what I'm putting on it is not going to exceed the weight limit because they carry they hold 1,200 pounds or something crazy like that, or 1,000 pounds. Pens and ink don't weigh that much. So if I want 7 shelves that have 7 racks that have 7 shelves each, I buy 9 and then I just take the extra shelves. Um, but I remember the last time they came, I could hear the Amazon driver swearing, "Son of a gun!" Because what are they? They're almost 3 feet long by a foot and a half deep ish, 14 inches, 15 inches. And so they're heavy. It's all get out. And yeah. So I got another one of those today. But they can't just buy the shelves. You can get shelves, but they're as much from other companies, but it's as much as it costs to buy an entire rack with 5 shelves in it. So I haven't done it yet because I don't know, I pragmatic that way, I suppose. You just throw away the four legs, the 4 rods, and you keep the shelf. You gave up soda and miss it? Yeah. You use the Amazon locker a mile from here when I'm going to be out. Takes the worry of porch pirates away, and I get some exercise going to get them. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have much of a. We had an issue, and I'd be curious to see when Lisa gets home because I think the issue was sort of resolved today. Um, you live in Carthage, town of 1,000. Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, Lisa had ordered some clothes on Amazon, and they got here supposedly at like little after 5 p.m. I had quit streaming. I was riding my bike, and like by 6, by the time she got home and checked at 6, it was gone. So somebody grabbed it between 5 and 6. And they took a picture of it there. Well, lo and behold, today, this morning, early this morning, no, there was a picture of it in front of our door. We've got they took a picture of it, and it's got our doormat there. Lo and behold, today a package arrived, but it was like the clear plastic with what I believe was probably the item she ordered, and I don't think she reordered it, with a label on it. So, but it didn't look like it was the actual label. So like sometimes you get it and it's labeled inside the box, maybe. And I wonder if somebody didn't grab it, open the box, and then just, or not. I mean, it was stupid though, because it was right in front of our door. And then just like got rid of the box and just threw the package out in front of our door. Because I asked, the ALEXA and said, hey, did I have any packages delivered today? No, they're coming later today. So, yeah, I wonder if a neighbor got it. And she went to go check with the neighbors, but the neighbors never answered the door. So, and we know the neighbors are home because the dog was out. I don't know. I didn't tell her about it, so I'm curious to see when she gets home if there's a reasonable explanation for it. Because she said, "Oh, well, I'll just go get it from Target or whatever." It's no big deal. All right, we're gonna stop here for today, at least on this nib. It's better. It's not perfect, but um, it's time to stop. So we don't go too far and damage it. The worst part of living in small towns is that we don't have mail delivery. Oh, you have to go to pick up the post office? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, it does look much better. I don't normally like to offer this, this service, but this pen sort of deserves to. I mean, this pen is useless without a nib that works, And after everything else was destroyed, I think it would be nice to um, it'd be nice to see it writing in some fashion, and sometimes, and this is not, I don't want this to sound, I don't want this to sound, if I enjoy straightening nibs, I could say, no, I don't really enjoy it. I don't really. If I enjoyed it, I would, I'd finish it. I mean, I know what needs to be done. I just, my brain has to process it in small chunks. And I don't want this to sound the way it's going to come out. And I don't mean it how in a bad way, but sometimes I have to wonder on some of these pens. It doesn't need to be perfect because I got a feeling that they're not going to use Grandpa's pen ever. They just want it. They want to know that this was his pen, and if I wanted to use it, I could. That's not an excuse to not do good work. Understand me when I say that. But it might be a case of, it doesn't have to be. I mean, in some cases, I know for a fact that these people just want it to look really pretty close. And maybe there's a little bit of guilt for taking the vice grips at it. And if we can get it, somewhere close, and for people who aren't pen people, Vacuumatic's not going to be the first choice of non-pen people. And anybody who tried to disassemble it the way this was tried to disassemble is not a pen person by our definition. It doesn't, there's no, not everybody has to be, for sure, but do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, I have a couple pens of my dad's. I don't like taking them out of the house. I mean, they're not worth much. They're in terms of, if um in terms of dollar value, cross century ballpoint, gold plated ballpoint is, I mean, you can barely give them away. Your dad still has all the VPs you gave him. Uh, yeah, I know you tell me about the family garage sale or something. Um, my father's pen, other than like the cross ballpoints, and he was a Parker guy. He had a number of, he liked to use pencils, so I have some pencils of his. I mean, none of it is worth more than, on the whole, worth more than $10. Um, the only pen he bought for himself was another VP he bought from Lisa. um, but what was I going to say? The only fountain, I only actually have one. I have one fountain pen on my father. And I got it in kind of a very weird, kind of eerie way. And he passed away, and then my mom was going through his stuff gradually, on her own time, and I would go visit my mom, help her with things, and every time I'd go, she would have a bag or a box of things. Here's some of Dad's T-shirts. They'll fit you. And I'm like pretty much spot on my dad's size. Um, and then the next time it would be something else. You know, here's his slippers, whatever. His baseball hat. And one day she comes out and she goes, "Oh well, yeah, I found this." And I think it was like my birthday weekend, and I happened to go visit my mom, and she doesn't live all that close. She's a couple hours away. And I go and she's got the box, and inside the box is a Schaefer double desk set, 2 brown pens, a beautiful wood base, little brass plaque, um, that was presented to him from the Air National Guard, presumably upon completion of his service. And one's a fountain pen, a dolphin style fountain pen, and the other one is a ballpoint. So I mean I can't take it with me. Um, but and I don't have room on my desk to use it. And it's and it has to be the dolphin, which is like my least favorite design of all time, and in brown, which goes well with the wood base, I guess. But so it's kind of funny. Um, it's the only fountain pen I have of his. Put snorkel trumpets in it. I actually have. What I did is I bought a later. Yeah, I do have my dad's pen. Yeah, and by the looks of it, he never used it. There were bite marks on the ballpoint. And, I flushed water in the fountain pen. Clear as day. Clear as day. I did find a later Imperial desk pen in brown with the full inlaid nib. And so I have that. I can use that. But, do I replace the dolphin, or do I probably should leave the ballpoint because he did use that. But what was interesting to me is that he knew I was interested in pens. And it was just more than a passing phase. I mean, he knew I collected them. They bought them for me for Christmas. One year they said, well, just, we don't know what to get you for Christmas. If there's some pens on eBay you want, give us the auction numbers and we'll buy them for you. And so they did. I gave them like 10 or 12 auction listings and they bought every single one of them. So I just find it interesting that he forgot that he had this set that was a gift that was presented to him that he was never using. It was never out. It was never not in the bedroom. He didn't have an office. He had it probably forgot about it. It was tucked away. But my mother found it the weekend I went back for my birthday. So I kind of think of it as it was kind of he was giving me a gift. Your dad uses VPs for the last 10 years of his working life. He wants to give them to me, but I think he should keep them for now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was meant to be. Give him an excuse to use them. Try to figure that part out. All right, 448. What do we got? What do we got? The PFM still don't open. Update. I had one of them in NAPTA for a couple of days. I pulled it out the other day because I was like, well, I should probably just pull this out. I couldn't get it open today. So the PFM still won't open. Coffee time. Yeah, I might turn that. I mean, I still have some left in the pot. I may just turn it on. Let me see if I got some pens here. Hang on. He has issues with writing. Oh, okay. Oh, well, you know, we should restore this one. I think these might be interesting. Let's see if I got any other ones here. And I'll show you what they are. So this one, I love black Esterbrook's with cool imprints. Catholic Order of Foresters? Okay. How about this one? Make sure you return this to Farwell Osmond Kirk and Company. How many of these do you think they made? You know, like I'm tempted to keep this one because it cracks me up. It just cracks me up. I love it. I bet y'all never seen one of these. We don't have much time left here before I gotta close up and get thinking about dinner. Let me see. Hang on if there's anything else here. That one. So I bet most of you probably never seen this pen. A hardware store in St. Paul. Look at that. Hmm. Wholesale hardware. Well, make sure you return the pen to them. This is a very interesting pen, and I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna look at this, and we've not talked about this pen on this stream ever. This particular model. Um, and just take a look at this cap. Look at the barrel. Look at the lever. Look at the cap band placement, the clip. There's the imprint for you. I'll zoom in on that. Super nice imprint. But yeah, and then look at this cap again. So, and what's under here is a disaster. Is really not really doesn't matter to the conversation. It's a flat feed 2048 with one tine missing. You know, so it's garbage. The barrel is actually quite nice. So what this is, I know you're thinking, well, this cap is a disaster, right? It has shrunk, disfigured. I mean, it is all but cracked. And why would anybody want this? In fact, it's shrunken to the point where it doesn't. I don't know that. I guess it is threading, sort of. Yeah, and so here's the thing. This is a relatively scarce pen. So this falls under, if you look at the cap again, we've got this early clip. We've got these cutouts that go in towards the top. Okay. First version of the 2-hole clip. Low cap band placement. We've got the R. Esterbrook and Company logo. More importantly, we've got the spear style lever. The earliest lever, really. And it's plastic, right? Okay, so now they made before this. So this puts it into the 1934 time frame. The other day we talked about regrets. One of my regrets that I didn't think about, but I think about when I see these pens, is I once had an ad. Gary Lair had a collection of pens he was going to sell me. We actually could not come to agreement on the pens. I got stuck with the pens, believe it or not. And had to bring them back to him at like the DC Pen Show or something, like months later. I got stuck with him. But he had some ads. And in the ads, and I'm not 100% sure because my memory's a little iffy on it, because there were actually two parts to this grouping of pens that Gary and I were talking about. One was Brenton Miller's collection, which we did buy. We made a deal on that. And then the rest was Gary Lair's collection, which, if any of y'all knew Gary, he never priced his stuff cheap, right? I mean, there was always, they were premium priced, and usually very rightly so, right? So there was no deal to be had for sure. And after buying Brenton Miller's stuff, and if you don't know who Brenton Miller is, Brenton Miller goes way back, even really before my time. And he was referred to for a long time as the Esterbrook Kid, because when he started collecting, he was like in his teens, his young teens. Actually, he wasn't even a teenager, and he collected pens with his father. He went and he met Jean Esterbrook while she was still alive, and he collected pens. And then he decided a number of years ago, gosh, it's probably 8 years ago by now, maybe more. He was going to get married. He still had these, after his father passed away, it was sort of a thing that they did together, and he stopped collecting pens. Now, with Esterbrook, at some point, it's pretty easy to assemble a fairly complete collection. So at some point, he stopped collecting pens after his father passed away, and then he just held on to them. And he was getting married, and he wanted nothing to do with them anymore. He got in touch with Gary. Gary got in touch with me. I bought Britton's pens, but I didn't buy Gary's stuff. Long story short, Gary had an ad from Life magazine, perhaps. Big, one of those big sheets. That was for, like, I want to say it was for DuPont. And DuPont was showing off its new plastic, and there was a name for the plastic, and I wish I would have taken a phone picture of this ad at the very minimum that talks about what the name of the plastic was. But they featured this pen. They featured all the things, all the different companies that were using this particular plastic, including, GE telephones and this, that, and the other company, and, lampshades, and, not lampshades, but, other plastic things that were going on in the early 30s. And I never made the deal, so I never got the ad. But this pen, and they made this pen in 5 colors. Guess what colors? Gray, blue, red, um, copper, green. They didn't make it in black because they were using hard rubber for black, right? Um, and so this was their first, other than their $1.50s materials, their celluloids that they were using in their $1.50, their V clips, and um, in some of their other early 2-hole clip pens. This was a different material. Well, they labeled it. I had one with the sticker on it once. It's had a price label on the bottom. Model BTL. L was the blue color. B for full size. T for I don't know what, and L was the code for blue. So that's what this is. This is their earliest solid color material. Unfortunately, it is almost always found with some kind of deformation on the cap, on the lever ring. Usually the cap doesn't thread on at all. Usually you just kind of just, I mean, like I can just treat this as a friction fit. I mean, this barrel is actually exceptional. So if you can find an equally terrible pen that has a terrible barrel but a good cap, but even the caps would shrink, so you might find another one where the cap's not even good. I mean, it might not even go on. The real trick is trying to just find every color, and then you have to understand that there are variations in clips and cap band positioning over the time period. So again, like we've talked before, 5 colors becomes 15 variations, and matching pencils. So sometimes you take what you can get, and while this cap is trashed, you're not really going to use this as a writing instrument. We will try to open this up. The problem is if this shrinks, it makes this tight, which means it could break when we open it. And this is for somebody who just wants this particular model. Page 30. Whole lot of dip pens. No. So let me show everybody what we're looking at here. And again, I wish I had the stinking ad, because then I could, I'm sure there was a date on it. This is later. So there's 3 key points that indicate this is later. This is is this 1938 maybe? I didn't even look. Yeah, 38 catalog. So the 3 things you got to look at here are right here, the top of the clip. You see how it just goes straight up? It doesn't cut in. The cap band position is what we would consider normal. There's a big space, and you can kind of see this is kind of like the spade style lever. It's flat. It's not pierced like this one. And these are the later. You got some celluloid ones, which are the ones that are $1.50. Pearl gray, foliage green. These guys in the middle here. Morocco red. Yeah, these would be later. And these are models B. So here's your BL, Cobalt Blue is BL. So these were, as best I can tell, were a model BT, because I have one that says BTL and it's blue. I had one that was BT. So I don't know what the T stands for, because I can't remember what the trade name of this material was. I need to look this up. This is probably at least, if I was a betting man, 4 years earlier than that. 1934. Could be 33, could be slightly earlier. But because before you had hard rubber, although they had nailed down black plastic pretty early on. You can get V-clips in black plastic. In fact, V-clips in hard rubber are exceptionally scarce. I would go so far as to say a V-clip in hard rubber is rare. You won't find one ever. And those are 3 years earlier than this pen. But they made hard rubber pens well into the 30s, the late 30s. So, I would assume they probably had stock. And maybe some people wanted the old hard rubber. Some people wanted the new plastic. Fancy Pudding, hello, welcome. So very interesting. Are you saving pens? I am. I save pens every day. Every day. Without. Well, we can't call ourselves a hospital now, can we? You love recycling things. It's so cool. Yeah. Yeah, we're just having a little chat. Little bit of Esterbrook esoterica here. I am probably one of a very small few people who really care about this. And so the problem is with this is this is not really a usable pen. I can put a nib in it, and I can put a sack in it, and we can make it usable. But in my mind, the only person that's buying this is a, I hate to use the term true collector, but a true collector who's trying to fill a space in their in their pen tray, in their collection, and they don't have one of these. Because this is one of those cases where if you pass on it because it's not perfect, you might not find another one. And most certainly, if you do find one, it's probably not going to be much better than the one you passed on. And so therein lies the rub. Now, what the thinking is here is this does not react well to water. So obviously the cap is shrunk here around the inner cap, which obviously comes in here. So these are never to be exposed to water. You should never expose them to water. Sickney is not perfect. That makes it one of a kind. Oh, since it's not perfect, that makes it one of a kind. I mean, they're out there, but most people see this, and this actually was in the parts bag like this. They were separated, and when I saw it, I knew what it was, and I said, well, those two go together, and they do. I mean, there's so it's just interesting. To me, it's very interesting. It is perhaps the one time when I would sell a pen that is really I mean, I've sold the other cases, Esterbrook twist fillers. They'll crystallize, they'll crack, they'll break, the knobs will fall off. They're still worth $400 all day long, every day, without a knob, and not usable because they just don't exist. I mean, I haven't seen a twist filler in the wild. probably 8, 10 years. Nobody's got them. I mean, you don't just run across. The last time I saw a twist filler, I want to say it was Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, probably 8 years. You saw one 5 years ago. Wow. I mean, as ridiculous as that sounds, I mean, that's amazing. And a guy had it in his pocket. And he's like, well, yeah, I got this pen. It's, it was my grandpa's or something like that. When there's a family pen. It was not for sale. Yeah. Yeah, they're never for sale. I mean, if you know what it is, it's not for sale. Or it's worse than Baltimore 2020. Okay. Okay. I wonder who had it. Can you say? And what color was it? Is the most important question to me. Or the most interesting question. The color is the most important. He just pulled it out of his pocket like it was a $10 Esterbrook. It was hilarious, and I just my response must have been golden because I'm like, you have no idea what you have, do you? You're like, no, I don't remember what we traded for, but I traded him something for it, and it was expensive. It might have been a Visconti. He had no interest in it. It didn't work, and he's like, he's fiddling with the piston. I was like, don't touch the piston. Don't. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. You can't restore it. The only thing you can do is damage it and break it, and then it's worth marginally less. So it was something else, and that was the last one I saw. It was probably 8 years ago, but I mean, and it was completely a fluke. It was a random Nintendo you wanted to have some old pens fixed. You believe it was red. In my experience, the two most common colors, if you want to call it common, are red and blue. Red and blue. I think in my life, I've had 3 blue and maybe 2 red. Yeah. Yeah, twist fillers. Yeah. You tried to buy that and the Waterman 18 safety he had? Ooh, hey, there's a question for you. What's the rarer pen? An 18 safety? Was it black? Was it just black hard rubber? Chase hard rubber? Or a twist filler? An Esterbrook twist filler? It was black. Okay. Yeah, so black's the most common color. I mean, if it would have been, I don't know if they made it in cardinal or modeled, it would have been, much more valuable. His father collected in the 80s. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, just for funsies. I mean, what's the rarer pen? The 18 safety in black or an Esterbrook twist filler? He wouldn't even take your card to give you contact. I'm going to go with, yeah, I'm going to go with the Esterbrook as the rarer pen. Now, that being said, the 18 is by far more valuable. Although there's not enough sales history on twist fillers that I think, and the market's pretty small, right? The market's small on that. You have to be a devoted collector who's going to buy something that won't work. Demand's big for the 18. Yeah. Yeah. But it's, twist filler, it's like if you get one, it's your whole Esterbrook collection. You can build a collection around that. I knew a guy once. True story. True story. He decided he was only going to collect green Esterbrookes. Now, before you think that's an easy task, it's not. It does significantly narrow down. Well, I mean, at least by a factor of 6, right? It does narrow down your options, but the only reason he decided to do that, because he didn't want to be an Esterbrook collector, but he liked the color green. He happened to already have a green twist filler, and I want to say he had the V clip in the marble green, which what did they call it? The foliage green, yeah. Well, I mean, green. Not necessarily. I mean, they're fairly common. Um, but in this case, with Esterbrook, then since you've got foliage green, you've got foliage green in at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, just in one size, at least 3 variations of foliage green, and each one of those is going to be $500 to $750 each. The V clip, particularly, if you can find it, is stupid rare. I mean, it's scarce. I call it scarce. And I mean, if you decide you're going to collect green pens and you don't have the green twist filler, you should just rethink because you just can't find it. It is not available. I mean, you better be very young. So, yeah, he collects green pens. He's actually the gentleman who I bought the pencil, the white doctor's pencil with the matching name to match Lisa's doctor's pen. No, just the pen color. Just the pen. Yeah, you can put whatever color ink you want inside. Just the pen. So those he had like the 3 rarest pens, the 3 rarest green Esterbrook pens already, and he's like, "Well, it's I like the color, so I'm gonna keep working on that," and that worked out for him. So all the other rare stuff he had, he sold to me, and I got the Rosboro, which I am eternally thankful to him for. I don't know what he's doing now. Haven't talked to him in 20 years. So, it's 5:17. Anyway, that's a little fun. So we got a couple things we can tool around with tomorrow. We got these cool imprints. They'll be kind of fun. This one is actually made in Canada, so that's kind of fun. There were a number of these, so I kept one for myself. I don't need multiples, but kind of uncommon to find Canadian made pens. And then this guy, and we'll pull out something else out of the bin. I'll find something else interesting since now I have them in binders. But anyway, did we finish anything today? No, I guess we did. We got those Diplo sets done. I mean, that's an accomplishment, right? Right? All right. Well, I got to go downstairs. I got to get dinner hopping, and I got a new Stream Deck to play with, I guess. I don't really deal with that. My daughter does. So, again, if anybody wants to get the email tomorrow, make sure to send me an email tonight. I will check the message you sent earlier, Hans. Thank you very much. I hope you're feeling much better tonight. Since you didn't come over, I am having, just to let you know, I am having the last piece of that chocolate pudding pie. So I will think of you as I eat it. But anyway, so send me an email. And Indy, did you send me an email? I think you did. I think you sent me an email. So if everything goes well, it should go out tomorrow. The email should go out tomorrow. The cat will be out of the bag, and we can have a fun conversation tomorrow if you want. If you don't, yes, okay, good. Yeah, I'll. I saw it came in yesterday, and I'm pretty sure we're cool on everything that you needed. So I mean, if you want, I can send you an invoice. I'll shoot you an email. So anyway, that's that. Shoot me an email if anybody needs to be added to the list. Other words, have a great evening, everyone. A great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.